I want to thank members of the Housing Quality Task Force who are here with me. Carol Wheeler, who co-chaired the Housing Quality Task Force along with Aqua Porter. Aqua couldn't be here today. And I'm joined also by Council President Miguel Melendez Jr. and members of the Housing Quality Task Force who are in the back there. I want to thank them for their time that they have been dedicating to to housing quality in Rochester. So we are here today to announce the next phase in the Housing Quality Task Force. Moving forward, this task force will now add to their efforts avenues to foster home ownership in Rochester. As you know, home ownership has been at the pillar of everything that I've talked about in city government. I want us to be able to shift to seeing how Rochester can be at the forefront to building more housing in Rochester for home ownership. It's key, it's important. The black-white home ownership gap in Rochester is tough. And that gap is larger in Rochester than it is in the rest of the country. So we want to be able to narrow that by having this group over the next 60 days look at quality, good, innovative ideas that will help us to be able to move the needle on home ownership. But I do want to just applaud this task force for what they've worked on in the last year. We created a landlord-tenant bill of rights and responsibilities. We hired additional code enforcement staff. We launched an online property management portal called Civics, and we compiled a vacant property database, just to name a few things, including adding more money to our home repair program and our roofing repair program. And that's just a handful of some of those accomplishments that have happened. And one of the most significant accomplishments has been the creation of a cross-functional city team, including a dedicated housing attorney that seeks out folks who are owners and are non-compliant, and also making sure that we fix outstanding code violations. I want to thank them for their work, and as we've been able to move the needle forward and when it comes to derelict property owners who have no business being in the business of providing housing. And make no mistake, we will continue to work to improve the rental market in Rochester as well. But today, the task force, I'm looking to help ask them to create new partnerships to look for ways to enhance existing programs and align our efforts with state, county, and partner organizations to increase home ownership opportunities and better support our existing homeowners. Owning a home is one of the most fundamental ways that families build wealth and provide stability for future generations. So we look forward to this group delivering some recommendations in the next 60 days that will allow us to leverage the public and private sector in partnerships to make recommendations to the city on how we can help facilitate greater home ownership in Rochester. We know that this will take time. We know that this is something that will not happen overnight, but it really gives us an opportunity to work with many partners to be able to help with the supply of home ownership in Rochester. I want to have our council president say a few words. He served on the task force as well. So I want to have Council President Miguel Melendez say a few words, and then I'll turn it over to Carol Wheeler to offer some remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Council President, I'm focused on safer neighborhoods, quality housing, and equitable access to opportunities. Home ownership is a critical part of the fabric of our city. The Latino community, we have about 27% home ownership. The Black community, 30% home ownership. So with those numbers in mind, we really have not only a racial gap in terms of economics, but really home ownership as well. There are a lot of opportunities and recommendations that I believe the Housing Quality Task Force can put forward. Specifically, I've been touting the land bank as an opportunity, which I intend to explore in the next 60 days. RHA Section 32, which is another opportunity for home ownership in the city. I think we can do a lot around that. And all residents, but particularly Black and brown residents in the city, need access to these types of opportunities to ensure that we're providing equity in terms of the opportunities to own property in the city of Rochester. So I do look forward. I want to thank the mayor and the administration for taking the next step, really looking at what more can we be doing. The Housing Quality Task Force work has not ended. It is continuing. I believe it will continue beyond the 60 days. And I want to seize the moment here to also make one additional announcement related to housing and council legislation. So today, Rochester City Council is unanimously introducing good cause eviction protection legislation. The New York State Legislature enacted an opt-in version of good cause evictions on April 20th. Today, I'm announcing that Rochester City Council has introduced that version into our Neighborhoods, Jobs, and Housing Committee. We intend to hold that legislation in committee and have further discussions in the coming weeks, possibly coming months, to determine whether or not the city should opt in. Following the budget process, the next few weeks will include different forms of public engagement to hear from our constituents. By introducing and holding this legislation in committee, we believe that we can create a robust process for feedback. So again, I want to thank the mayor and administration for their continued work on the Housing Quality Task Force, and I look forward to continuing this work, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. And before I turn it over to Carol, we are committed to focusing our efforts to help homeowners make the most of their increased value of their homes on growing homeownership. As you know, there was a lot of conversations about assessment. So we are also want to encourage people to join us on Saturday, June 29th at East High School from 10 to 1. We will have a session with the Office of Financial Empowerment. They're holding a resource fair to help homeowners maximize their home's value so they can sustain and build generational wealth. So this is a generational wealth seminar that will be taking place on June 29th at East High School. And the website is cityofrochester.gov/suite home value. For details, that is where you can register. But this gives individuals the opportunity to learn about how they can pass on that home ownership process to future generations. Because many people want to make sure, I want to make sure that my kids, if they so choose, also become homeowners. So what can we do now to start instilling that sense of home ownership in future generations? And that is what this, from the Mayor's Office of Financial Empowerment, with this resource fair will be able to allow for homeowners to learn how they can maximize their home's value and build generational wealth. This is a great opportunity. And as you know, the Mayor's Office of Financial Empowerment is one of the crown jewels of offices that I've started since taking office, and they are there to help us move from that poverty mindset to that prosperity mindset, and that is what this session will do on June 29th. So more to come on that. You'll see some advertisements around that, but for future information, cityofrochester.gov/suite home value for more details on June 29th from 10 to 1. And I'd like to turn it over now to Carol Wheeler to make a couple of remarks related to the work of the committee over the next 60 days.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mayor, for this opportunity. Just want to say that this is a great day in the city of Rochester. I also want to just emphasize that Rochester is a great place to live. My counterpart, Aqua Porter, isn't here today, but she has already expressed her support of this new direction for the Housing Quality Task Force. She would also say, hey, kudos to the city and our partners for beginning to prioritize home ownership. But she would also say, don't quit building on the progress that we have made so far. And we have made quite a bit of progress as it relates to rental housing. That work will continue. What you have heard is that, yes, there is a lower home ownership rate than we would like. We're currently around 37%. And if had you heard the mayor say, is that we're interested in changing that statistic. We're interested in changing that narrative. We have a great foundation right now as far as the number of programs and projects like Home Rochester and By the Block, purchase assistance and employee assistance. And there is new programming coming out from our land bank. So we have a great foundation of programs and projects to start building more toward home ownership and increasing that percentage. Now, we will continue with these programs, and we also look to identify other strategies that we can employ. We know that even New York State and the federal government, they have all expressed interest in putting emphasis on home ownership. What we do realize is that this effort is going to take everyone working collectively in this space, working toward the same goal at the same time, increasing home ownership in the city of Rochester. And as we look at what our task is ahead of us, we know that we need to not only have product for people to purchase, but we do have to make sure that individuals are prepared. So we want to make sure that, yes, we are contacting or involved with those that provide those services that help to prepare individuals for home ownership. And we are hopeful that this is not just going to be a plan for just those that are young, but we are talking about home ownership for the entire spectrum, those individuals that may be just coming out of college, those individuals that are a lot more mature. But we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity. So we are looking to identify and facilitate development of owner housing types that we don't currently see within the city of Rochester, such as manufactured housing, co-ops, affordable condos, and mutual housing. This is just some of the things that we would want to explore. But we have to create more opportunities through existing buildings as well as new. Increasing the home ownership rate will take everyone: the real estate community, lenders, Office of Financial Empowerment, housing service providers, our public authority, housing authority, developers, funders, government, and others to accomplish this goal. But Mayor, the Housing Quality Task Force accepts the charge and are very hopeful that all of you will join us in making increased home ownership in the city of Rochester a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol, for your work on this. Carol eats, sleeps, and breathes housing in our community, and we're grateful that she is continuing this work on the Housing Quality Task Force along with our good friend Aqua Porter. So, as I've said, I'm committed to breaking down the barriers to home ownership, and that's why I created the Housing Quality Task Force in the first place, so that all of our residents have the opportunity for an equitable future. And let's be clear, not everyone may want to own a home, but they should have the opportunity if they so choose. If they so choose, and that is what we want to make sure we do from a city perspective. I want to thank the Housing Quality Task Force once again for their commitment to making Rochester a better place for all, and thank all of you for coming here. I want to say stay tuned. We are going to be innovative, we're going to be creative, and we look forward to reporting back in about 60 business days. I want to say business days. So she said thank you for that, 60 business days. So that gives them a little bit more time, because we won't count weekends, because we know that we want people relaxing on the weekends. I don't want them working on this on the weekends. I want them to have a good work-life balance, and that's important to have. So 60 business days to report back on some of the strategies that we will be deploying as it relates to our increased home ownership. With that, I will take any questions that anyone might have related to this.
You mentioned the ongoing discussion on reassessments. I know there's still some city council members raising concerns about the process. Is there anything else that would be done at this point?
No, the process was certified on May 1st. as it relates to reassessment. So that process is closed. It closed on May 1st once the items were sent to the state. So that process is closed. Anything else?
Are you recommending the expansion of any programs or grants to help existing homeowners bring their properties up to code or renovate?
Yeah, so a great question. This will all be looked at over our 60 days, but one of the things that we've advocated for, we just got a good chunk of money from the state related to home repairs, the THIP grant. And how much was that? That was over $4 million. So the THIP grant that we just got from New York State is exactly for that purpose, because the point that you make is an important one. We don't only want to increase home ownership, but we also want to make sure that people who currently own their homes can stay in their homes, because we don't want to see more people buying homes and then seeing people not able to keep their homes. And part of that is making sure that they can keep their houses up to code. And so that THIP program will help to do that. And that is in addition to our already existing, much of that legislation will be going through council this month, home repair program, home grant repair program that we have. So yes, and then obviously this group may also look for other ways for us to increase those pots. But we're very grateful that we were one of the cities to be awarded the THIP grant, which will allow us to continue to spend dollars helping people keep their homes up to code. Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you all coming today, and stay tuned to future updates from the Housing Quality Task Force. Thank you.